This story comes out of Michigan, and the writer is Carlos Miller. I took offense with the title of the article because it seems like he's mocking this dead man. Let me get into it though. Why you hit me like this? Michigan State trooper drove unmarked vehicle over curb, striking and killing black man charged with murder. Now that's kind of misleading the way he wrote that. Michigan State trooper drove unmarked vehicle over curb, striking and killing black man charged with murder. Okay. It seems like he's trying to be a little slick, but it seems like the title is inferring the man was charged with murder, justifying why he was ran over. They do little slick things like this when they write these articles that I've been catching. But let me get into it. All right, we're going to take a look at the video. Viewer discretion is advised. Fair use, YouTube, fair use. I'm giving this based on educational purposes. You see him running, and they chasing him. Then out of nowhere, you see this SUV roll up and just run him into a wall, and he stays there for a second. I guess someone told him to bag the truck up off him. And they pat down, handcuff him. I see one of them has his knee in his back. You know this man is hurt. He just been hit by an SUV. Just total disregard for human life. The fire trucks pull up, and one of the guys got a grin on his face, like, just another day. Man, that's got to be a horrible way to go. And prayers go out to this man's family. Hopefully they get the justice they deserve. Let me get back into this article. A white Michigan State trooper was charged with second-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter this week for striking and killing a black man with his SUV while pursuing him for a probation violation last month. Probation violation. Wow. So this man violated his probation, and you struck him with your vehicle like he's just the most hardened criminal, like he's just robbed a bank or something and shot a bunch of people. That's the way you treated him. Just no disregard for human life from these people when it comes to us. And I'll do my commentary at the end, but sometimes I got to stop and speak along the way on some things. The cases like this just really get me upset because they out here killing us at will. But I'm glad to see, they taking steps. Hopefully, well, not hopefully, he needs to be in prison for a very long time and never see the light of day. You guys know I say this. When you're law enforcement, you need to be held at a higher standard than the regular citizens because you are law enforcement. But let me get back into it. Michigan State Police Sergeant Brian Keeley is facing up to life in prison for killing Samuel Sterling, a 25-year-old father of two who was known locally as a rap artist. The incident took place on April 17th while Keeley was working with federal U.S. Marshals Service task force along with several other officers from different agencies. Sterling, who was pumping air into his tires at a gas station when he was confronted by police, took off running on foot, prompting Keeley to pursue him in his unmarked SUV, along with several other officers on foot and in their patrol cars. So he's running on foot. Why would you feel it necessary to run him over? He's not posing a threat to any of the officers. He's fleeing. That means he's no threat to you. A security video from a local Burger King shows Sterling was running on a sidewalk when Keeley drove his vehicle over the curb and struck him, pinning him between the SUV and the wall of the fast food restaurant. He was pronounced dead hours later at a local hospital. "I've got no gun," said Sterling, who was crying out in pain, according to body camera footage released a month after the incident. "Why you hit me like this?" The initial footage from Burger King was released last month by attorneys representing Sterling's family, who include Ben Crump, oh Lord, a nationally renowned attorney who has represented the families of many black men killed by police in high-profile incidents over the years. I will say this about Crump. He will secure the bag. That's what he's there for. But I would like to see someone to pursue these officers and make sure they pay for the crimes they commit and not just able to walk away scot-free. The money that these lawsuits comes from the citizens. The citizens pay for that. I would like to see these officers pay a price by going to jail. Police say in the media release that Keeley was not wearing a body camera due to his assignment on a federal task force, but the U.S. Marshal Service have implemented policies requiring all officers working on task force to use body cameras while serving warrants and arresting fugitives. However, the federal policy, which began in 2020, has been implemented slowly in regional phases over the last several years and does not go into effect into Michigan until the second quarter of 2025, according to the U.S. Marshal Service website. However, Michigan State Police have also implemented policies requiring officers to wear body cameras as well as patrol cars to be outfitted with dash cameras. And those policies went into effect on March 14th, 2024, a month before the incident. Nevertheless, the existing footage provided enough evidence for the Michigan Attorney General to file charges against Keeley, 50, a 25-year-old police officer. Detective Sergeant Keeley's actions that day were illegally, grossly negligent, and created a very high risk of death or great bodily harm, which could have otherwise been prevented, according to a statement issued by Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel on Tuesday when she announced charges to the media. Shout out to her. More than 2 weeks before the charges were announced, two former longtime police chiefs and police training consultants reviewed the footage from Burger King at the request of local television news station and determined the officer violated the law. No kidding. That's like an understatement. No matter what the trooper said he was doing and why his vehicle jumped over the curb onto the sidewalk and struck the suspect, it's still going to be a criminal matter. It's an involuntary homicide at the very least, Roy G. Taylor told Wood TV last month. Sterling was not posing a threat of seriously bodily harm or death to anyone at the time of the incident, so there was not an immediate need for his apprehension, and the use of a vehicle to chase down a fleeing suspect on foot was not a reasonable action, added Melvin L. Tucker. The second-degree murder charge is punishable by up to life in prison if convicted, but sentencing will be up to the judge, who has wide discretion as to what he would serve. According to Michigan law, Sterling's warrant stemmed from previous arrests for being a felon in possession of a firearm and carrying a concealed weapon. According to the local media sources who reviewed his records, he violated probation by possessing marijuana and leaving the state without permission from his probation officer. Many states nowadays, marijuana is legal, so they still criminalizing people for marijuana possession. That's interesting. Sterling's mother, Andrika Cage, said she cried with happiness when learning of the charges. No, you don't cry for happiness and your son just passed. You don't celebrate for somebody doing what they supposed to do. That's what they supposed to do. This man was out of line with what he did with his vehicle. But I understand what she's saying, I'm not gonna beat up on the mother after she just lost her son. So But yeah, we don't celebrate people for doing, doing the right thing. That's what's supposed to be done. That's part of their job, to prosecute people who break the law. Okay, where was I? Okay, Sterling's mother, Andrika Cage, said she cried with happiness when learning of the charges, but I still but it still does not ease the pain of losing her son. It's never going to be relief to me, she told Michigan Live. With my son gone, I haven't been right since. That's a pain. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Yeah, I understand what she's saying. And that's right. For the simple fact that they bringing the charges up is a good thing. Whether he receives life in prison, that's going to be up to the judge, I guess. Well, not I guess, it is going to be up to the judge. Hopefully, they give him life in prison, because he doesn't need to see the light of day after doing something like that. This guy, marijuana possession and leaving the state, that's something minor. His previous, like I said, they dig back into your records and try to vilify you. It seems like that's what that's doing. Gun possession. Well, a lot of people out here, you either gonna be carrying, or you're gonna be out here without protection. So some people that probably can't obtain a right to carry a firearm, so they're gonna carry it anyway, because it's a lot of things that happen out on these streets, and you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Some people say I'd rather be judged by 12 than carry it out by 6. So man, these stories like this, it happens so much. These officers, I know a lot of you guys who don't know about what happens in the United States, but the black community, we all know what goes on. And it's like a lot of these officers have this like hidden agenda. Some people call them race soldiers, where you have these officers that don't like black people from the beginning, so they use their badge to carry out their racism. And many times we are the target of that racism. Man, this guy ran him over and then pinned him with his car. Gotta be a painful way to go. And then many times they stand around and laugh and joke about it, watch the replay on the body cam footage and the dash footage, and get laughs out of watching someone suffer and passing away. I've been ranting on this for a while. It's probably going to be quite a lengthy video, but I'll be watching what transpired with this case. Like I say, hopefully they give him life in prison where he will never get out and see the light of day again. Is what he needs. I'm going to drop this here. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one.